Hi, today I'm doing an unboxing video of the Fractal Design Pop XL Air computer case, and there's a series of videos I'm doing on some more unboxing of other components, and eventually you'll see a video on assembling the computer. Hi, I'm Andrea. Welcome to my channel. Okay, right. I am now going to open the case and see what's inside this case. Of course, standing knife, of course. Get a grown-up to do this, of course. You don't want to do this without adult supervision. And as they always use Sound Blue Peter, always get a grown-up. And open this, and quite a big case, and we'll see what's inside here. Hopefully, I think I've just scored along the case. My friend will be pleased. And so anyway, we'll see what's actually inside this. I always get static kind of charges when I touch these cases. Although it's not too bad, the plastic is not kind of anyway, we'll see what's inside this. There's a little bit of damage to the box on here. Right, I'm going to do this. Oh dear, and I don't have huge amounts of strength, so you see me wrestling with this, and you'll have a good laugh as well. And so yes, see, it's well packaged in here, and so can I do this? Might have to pause and go to adverts. And that's good. Pulling the table along. I might have to actually tip it up. I think it's usually a good idea, and then lift the box up like this. Can I do it? It's stuck. I think, yeah, something is stuck at the sides. It's the typical. Oh, we'll have to pause a little bit, I think. Something's gone pop. Right, so I'll put the box down here. Just had the carpets cleaned as well. Got a static shock. I knew I'd do that. I always do that. It's one for the bloopers, I suppose. I always get a static shock whenever that happens. I always like to try and make a little hole in the polythene here and just put a finger through while I'm sliding it out, but I forgot to do that this time. And anyway, so yeah, at least there's no motherboard in there or anything, no computer components. So I'm going to put these in here. Just hope I don't think there's any electrics in there to fry. So I've got the case upside down at the moment. So I'll take all this out, and we'll see what I've actually got in here. As while I'm doing this, I'm touching the metal case here so I don't get any more shocks, and you always get static. So it's quite a nicely made case, and I've got a few other little bits in here which we'll come to in a minute. Alright, so this is the case, and so it's got, it's not a door on the front, there's actually fans behind here, and down here I think where you can put the optical drives. I think that's magnetic, I think. Try that. Yes, it is. So this clips on magnetically here. So I'll leave this off for the moment, and you put in your optical drives in here at the bottom of the case. So that's one reason why we've got this case, because not a lot of cases now have space for optical drives. So DVDs, CD drives are on the way out. And of course it's got a see-through window. It's got a little bit of cellophane over the window here, so you can't really see through it as easily on the camera perhaps, but on the back we have, if you can see on here, your motherboard will go here, power unit will go down the bottom here, and of course all the slots here for extension cards and graphics cards and so on there. And you've got the fan in here. This is a 120 fan, I'm not sure. There's actually, I think inside, I'll take the actual side panel off, and which is quite, I don't want to lose all these things with it was a little bit sort of stiff, these are, and that's when you first put them in, which is good because you don't want them falling out, but of course that's, I'll take the other, sometimes you have to use a screwdriver against some of these sometimes, if we can do that. And yeah, so we've got, this makes it easier to get them off. So it's kind of we're sort of doing a bit of a geeky video rather than a more glamorous one, sort of, well, sort of, always I make these things so they deliberately get stiff when you bring them out. It's a good idea, but it kind of makes it just that little bit awkward. I suppose if you've got sort of young children about and things, and you don't want them going inside your case, it makes it a little bit harder for them to get inside, although usually kids find the way inside things, don't they? Much easier. So we'll take the panel off first. Quite a large panel, and it's quite substantial as well, so it's quite nicely made. Oops, on there, so I'll just wreck the case, and no, not put a dent in it, which is good. So that's, a friend won't be very pleased if I did that. So now then, how do we get the panel off? So we've got, I see, so this slides, it actually slides out like this and slides off. So it's actually glass, this is, and you've got metal on the tops and bottom here, and it's actually a glass panel. So be careful we don't break that. And it's got coverings on so it won't get scratched. And of course inside the case we have 3 fans in here, you can see those, and to keep it cool we've got kind of room on the top here to put, if you want to put a water cooler in or extra fans. I think probably a 2-fan water cooler possibly on here. I think if you're going to put a 3-fan water cooler, that would probably have to go on the front, I think. We're placing those fans there on this case. But you've got, on this side, you've got all these cables along here for the USB 3 audio cable, and you've got this one is, I'm not exactly sure what that one is yet, I'll have to look at that. So that could be another sort of some sort of connection cable. And you, on here, this, you have your, you put your hard drives here, conventional 3.5-inch hard drives. You put one there, and you can put one here as well. You've got a bracket under here, same, which I think comes out, and you can put that up here. So you've got a bracket here as well, so you can basically get in 3 hard drives. You're going to put an optical drive in, you'd only have up to 3.5-inch hard drives, and the optical drive would take space just here. And so you've got here, you can put space for 2 SSDs, 2.5-inch solid state drives can fit here, of course. And again, I don't know if that panel, whether you can move it somewhere else, I'm not sure, but they kind of go on the back, so the kind of the heat from the drives is kind of on this side and not actually going inside the case to heat up the things like your motherboard and your processor. So which is quite a good idea. Plenty of vents as well on here. Of course, I'm not sure how this comes out, whether you I'm not going to unscrew all these fans now, but basically your fans are in behind here on the front, and of course your power supply unit will go in the back. here, and so in this part, don't know, that looks like a bit of tape or something. There's screws under here, so it's kind of a bit of film over there to protect, I suppose. And of course you basically, your power supply goes in the bottom, or you push it in there in the bottom here, and then of course you feed up the cables through, and your motherboard will go inside here, and your graphics card, and of course any other expansion cards, and that kind of keeps that from the rest of the system, which is really good. So you're not kind of fiddling, trying to juggle, pull out a drive here, and you've got your motherboard or graphics card in the way. So that's quite a good idea, really, that is. And on the top we have I think 2 USB ports, and like a microphone and a headphone or speaker jack on the top as well, on there, which is quite useful sort of thing, along the top here. And your power switch is also on the top here, so small power switch on the top. And then you've got so I've actually also got as well this Fractal design sort of USB-C cable, which can also go inside the case. This is a separate item you have to buy. So if you want USB-C, I'm going to open this up, and so if you wanted USB-C, then you have to buy this from a different supplier, because they didn't, the place where we got this from didn't have it. But basically you've got your, I suppose one goes on your motherboard, assuming that this motherboard we've got is going to have USB-C header, I think it does, and then the USB-C port here, which goes, I think somewhere, I think there's a kind of a little hole on the top here, which I think this will go in, I think, on there, and it goes up through that hole there. I've got to study it because I've not actually had a look yet, but that will basically then add USB 3 functionality to the case, as well as just the USB 3. So USB or USB-C, I should say, not USB 3. It is USB 3, 3.2 is it, or something, but yeah, it's USB, where do I put the thing? It says USB-C cable adapter. So it's got kind of instructions on the back on the box here, so I won't throw that box away, because that's got tells you how to fit it to the case. There's no screws in there, so anyway, we've got do this, and we've got a kind of a mesh. Again, I'm touching the case so I don't get another static shock on here. And so yes, so this is yes, this looks like another mesh kind of thing. So it's just basically to stop the dust and everything. So again, which is a good thing. So that should come out. Now I think this looks like, yes, it's magnetic. So that can go, basically fits on the top here like that. So that basically sort of fits in this area on the top, and that just magnetically holds in, so which is quite good. So it means you've not got to unscrew anything when it fits in quite nicely. So you pull all that out, and you can dust that with a brush or vacuum it, and you've got and that way it's sort of good dust protector. So we'll keep that safe in there. And we have the guide as well, of course, it comes with, and so that's and of course, looking for where are all the screws gone. So are the so we've got yes, we've got some screws in the back here. So I'll undo this, and we have all these screws that we hopefully need, and that's one side. And yes, here we are. So there's some cable ties as well that come with it. Again, it's always a good idea to have cable ties. I don't tie things up until I've actually got the computer working, because I like to make sure everything is working first, and just kind of route the cables in a neat place out the way a little bit, but then tie them up afterwards once I'm sure everything is all all working okay. And so yes, you've got various screws on there. I was sort of panicked almost. I thought, oh, I haven't got any screws, but they're in a little bag here, and so hopefully all the screws that we need. And again, does it have the standoffs for? It's got some rubber, or some little rubber things in here, which little rubber rings. I assume they might be the motherboard standoffs, or they could be hard drive standoffs. Yes, the hard drives I think they would be for, because we've got the standoffs already fitted in the case here. You may have to adjust the standoffs for your particular motherboard. If you've got micro ATX or an ATX, you might have to, or some motherboards might have things slightly in different place. So we might have to actually just adjust these. And it's always a good idea to have a little kind of from, I think I've got in here, kind of a little sort of, it's kind of like a little Allen key type thing, which you can, little socket really, and you can undo the standoffs in there and adjust it. So yes, it looks quite a good substantial case. There is plenty of room inside here, and so it seems seems really made. I mean, this was the how much was this? This was including the delivery. This was £106, and this was, the prices vary. They go some £120, £130 for the same case. So depending where you shop around, prices might vary a bit. I think the case was about £96, but it's about £10 delivery. So I suppose, what's that in dollars or euros? I suppose it's about similar kind of, might be a little bit more dollars maybe, could be anything up to $150 US dollars. It could be and euros again, probably anything up to 130, 140 euros maybe. So it'll but yeah, so it sort of depends where you buy it from. And but yes, it's quite a nice case, finished in a kind of a sort of mattish sort of black, so it's not glossy. It's got a kind of slight texture to the case itself. It's quite rugged and durable, and it's got all the kind of little plastic strips on there to keep it protected, and it's got various sort of cables and things which you've got to work out what they all are, where they all go. So anyway, this is basically Fractal design Pop XL air case. I suppose the air, because it's got lots of vents and air flow through there. It's all designed for airflow, and I like Fractal design products. I've got a Fractal design water cooler with 3 fans on there for my PC, and that has been really good. I've got a AMD FX 9590 processor, which is the 8-core, and it's supposed to run really hot, but actually it runs cooler than an i5 system that I built for somebody a few years ago, and they had a top of the range i5, which was all singing or dancing, raving, this is for gaming and everything, but it ran really hot. You put your hand over here and wow, you could feel the heat coming from it, and you think, wow, I thought i5s should run a lot cooler than the FX processors, but yeah, this FX runs fairly cool anyway. So I mean, FX is what, 10, 11 years old now, I think. 2013 when the 9590 came out, I think, something like that. So that is quite a few years ago now when that's come out, but it still performs admirably. But I'm going to upgrade mine to probably a Ryzen, the new generation Ryzen, which we're going to put in here, and this one, so we will see in the few up and coming videos, you'll see the other components that I've got, and hopefully you'll see a test of the Ryzen. I'm not got a perfect benchmarking software, but we'll do a kind of a test, maybe a comparison between that and my FX processor as well, and just see, because the Ryzen we've got is the Ryzen 7000 series, Ryzen 5, but the 7000 series. Yeah, so that will be revealed in another video. So I'm going to do some more unboxing videos, so stay tuned and watch this, and hope you've enjoyed watching this video, if it's been informative to you. So that's yeah, so move that a bit closer for you to see, and so hopefully give you some insight. It's always a good idea to get a good case for your system. It's always, I mean, yes, you can utilise a case you've already got if it still holds all the components and everything. I've got a Coolermaster Cosmos case. I think it's the first Cosmos case they did. That's really substantial. It's not got USB 3 ports on there, but I've got USB 3 on the front through a third-party adapter. But one of the things, though, this doesn't have, of course, which a lot of cases don't think have now, they don't have they've got the 5¼ inch drive bays, but it doesn't actually have the 3½ inch drive bays, the old floppy drive bay size, probably because there's not much really that goes in there now, maybe some card readers perhaps, not much else really goes in those. And but you can of course buy an adapter to put in there, of course, if you did want to put a 3½ inch, if you want to put a floppy drive in there, but actually there's no floppy drive port on the motherboards, on the new motherboards. So if you're building an old PC, but then again you probably wouldn't spend over £100 on a case just to put a 20-year-old PC in, of course, unless you really wanted something that looked nice, looked the part. But anyway, this is really nice. So you've got really well made. It feels very solid here, and so yeah, hope you've enjoyed this, and thank you all for watching, and please like and subscribe, and see you all very soon. Okay, thank you, bye. Thank you all for watching today's video. I hope you've really enjoyed it, and please remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to get notifications for future videos.